Hey guys, it's Misty, athlete mental health coach and author of the Athlete Mental Health Playbook. So today we're going to talk about sage. What's this thing right here? Sage. So we're going to talk about that. What is it? Why are athletes using it? Why would anybody use it? Why did Kyrie Irving use it specifically? And how do you use it? What is it? All that stuff. So I'm going to go over that really quickly in today's video. You could probably go down a deep dive in the history of all of these uses of herbs, and burning and smudging is what it's called. I'll get into that in a second. But let's talk about what that is. So basically what happened is recently, and I'm filming this a few days before Christmas, by the way, so I haven't got my nails done. Apologies for that. But what happened is a few days ago, at the time of this recording, Kyrie Irving was playing in a preseason game. And people saw him smudging. They saw him burning sage on the opponent's court, and they were like, what is this about, right? So it became like this huge story. So I thought, you know what, let me do a video. Let's talk a little bit about this. I know he addressed it as something that is personal to him. It's a ritual to his Native American culture that that him and his family come from, and so it's something very normal to them, and it's very normal for a lot of people. People might think saging is sort of like witchcrafty type stuff, and that couldn't be further from the truth. So first, let's look at sage. So this is a giant stick of sage. They come, and you can see I've been using it, but they come in different sizes, so you can get it much smaller than this. You can get it wrapped with different types of like lavender and different things like that too, that people make them all pretty. But this is essentially what a sage stick looks like. Again, this is a pretty big one. And what I do when I use it is I pull leaves out from it. I'll show you in a second how I do that in case you were interested. You can get this at any metaphysical store nearby. In Miami, I recommend Five Sisters. Shout out to you guys. That's my go-to place. So essentially what happens is when you burn sage, it is said to basically balance out and clear out, is a better word to say it, clear out all the energies around you. So let's say you walk into your house and it feels really dense, or maybe you had a couple bad days, or you had a party, or whatever it, maybe not during the pandemic, but let's say like you're having stuff like that going on. Or like in Kyrie's case, he walked into a space that was unfamiliar to him. I think he asked for permission, he said, which is very respectful to do. You're not just going to walk up in anybody's house and sage it. But what that does is basically you're cleaning out all the energy. So sage is cleaning good energy, bad energy, all energy. We're like just a complete reset, right? And it's said to have like when you burn it, it's said to also have properties of cleaning impurities and cleaning the air and stuff like that. How true is that? I don't know. There's been studies that have been done on it. I don't know how conclusive that is. But again, in a lot of cultures, it's a pretty sacred ritual. Anytime I purchase a house, I will sage the house before we move in. It's just, or I buy new crystals or whatever it is. So I'm getting into a little bit of a hokey stuff, but basically, again, bottom line is you're going to use sage to clean all the energy. So if you feel that things are really dense, or maybe we've had a bad few days, or it's a new moon or a full moon or whatever is going on, you're going to use this to clean energy. So the other piece of this that I'm going to offer up for you is there's different things that you can burn. And by the way, when you're doing this process of cleaning the energy in a space by burning something like sage, that's called smudging. Again, I'll show you in a second how to do it. But this is called Sweetgrass. I'll take it out so you can see it. But basically, a lot of people will follow smudging with sage. Since sage clears all energy, they'll then burn something like Sweetgrass, because this is what it looks like. And because what that does is that invites in positive energy, right? So this will clear all energy and reset everything. And something like this, you follow up with something like a Sweetgrass, it invites in positive energy, right? So again, really that connection, really keeping the energy clear, clean, and as positive as possible. You know, people will be in moods and things will happen, and sometimes if you're super sensitive, you can even touch an object and you'll feel that that has kind of a funky energy, right? So these are tools that you can use. So we have a bowl here. You can use, there's different types of bowls available for the smudging practice. But basically what I do is I just tear off the leaves like this, for instance, and I'll just put them in my little bowl here. Okay, it's kind of hard to do this holding the bowl at the same time, but that's all right. So I'll just put some of those sage leaves in there. I have some stuff in here from the last time I used it. haven't felt like the need to clean it out. I do everything by intuition. If I feel like I need to chuck it, I'll chuck it. But this is something I just burned the other day. So I'm just putting some fresh sage on top of that. And you can see I already actually have sweetgrass in here. So you wouldn't necessarily burn the whole stick. You can just cut pieces of it. And then you can take a lighter. A lot of people, by the way, prefer to do this with matches. They say it's a better, more realistic part of the ritual is using matches rather than a lighter, but I'm going to use a lighter. And you'll just basically light your sage, and I'm lighting my piece of my sweetgrass at the same time. You can see, I don't know if you can see if it's smoking, if it really shows that or not. And then you can use something like a white feather. You don't have to, but you can use something like a white feather. White is very pure. And then what you're going to do is just literally either with your feather, you can even do it with your hand, by the way. You can even, if you had a smaller smudge stick, sage stick, you just can light that and use that to do the same thing. So you could do like this or like this with it as you walk around. But the important part of this too is not just to burn it, but to really focus on when you're smudging, on bringing in positive energy. So I say something like, all negative energy, go to the light. Only healing light is allowed here, only positive light, stuff like that. So anyhow, and it has like a very distinct smell. It smells like some other herbs. I won't get into that, but it has a very distinct smell. But I happen to really enjoy it. So anyhow, that's what smudging is. And so how can it help with your mental health? Well, like let's say you're feeling really funky, you're feeling really down. Anything that you can do, I think, to improve your energy physically, mentally, emotionally, metaphysically, which means like the stuff that you can't necessarily see, touch, feel, you want to go ahead and do that. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions and I'll be happy to answer them. Thanks.